Thank you. And I also want to be associated with the sympathies to Brendan Daly as well. And it's lovely the way that you spoke about him here this morning. And thank you for that. Sharing a little bit of him with us here this morning, those of us that may not have known him. Leader, I would propose an amendment to the order of business that item number 13 on the order paper be taken before item number 1. Leader, this morning I want to raise the findings and recommendations of the report document from the Federation of the Early Childhood Providers, Voices from the Frontline. Service providers identifying key challenges and opportunities for Ireland's early learning and early learning sector. One of the major points made by this document was discovered in their analysis of many mid-sized services that are owned and managed by single owner managers, which is one of the most popular models of early years services throughout Ireland. And many of us over the last couple of weeks would have attended some of the presentations that the organisation have held in the AV room. In many of these cases, the apparent viability of the services is being achieved artificially, with the owners and managers reducing their salaries where necessary to support increases in operational costs. As a result, while the term profitability is often described as referring to the bottom line in annual finances, the profit being generated within many of these facilities actually excludes the salary of the owner or the managers themselves. As a result, while the financial accounts of the services may indicate that the service is viable based on annual accounts and returns, the model is completely unsustainable and in reality is financially unviable. In other social and business sectors, this issue would not be a concern of the state. It would be for the owner or managers themselves, requiring changes to the business in terms of its operational income, the fees and number of clients, and cost, primarily wages, to address viability. However, this is not possible in this sector. For early year providers, their fees are regulated by core funding, and their numbers of clients is limited based on ratios stated by the Childcare Act and regulations, ratios of children to staff workers. Those salaries are controlled by the recent ERO, which represents an average of 75 to 90% of total operational costs. As a result, the usual release mechanisms used by businesses to adapt their operation to achieve viability has been removed. This report concludes by saying that if this is not addressed, we will see the closure of many childcare providers over the next 18 months, as well as the likely adoption of practices by other business models that are contrary to the provisions of the Childcare Act and regulations. In my last few seconds, I just want to thank, and we don't normally thank the members of the backroom team of this House, but yesterday I witnessed something that I was so glad to witness. Alan Rowan, the head ushers in this House, and all the tour guides in this House need a round of applause and many thanks. There was a little child in here yesterday called Aaron O'Shea with his parents Fidelma and Martin, and I watched the little clip of him in the Dáil yesterday, and the whole Dáil stood still for about 2 or 3 minutes while he enjoyed his moment with the family, and I just thought it was a lovely experience. But I just wanted to thank the tour guides and Alan Rowan and his team for making those dreams possible and making those wishes possible for the most vulnerable children that we have in our community, and to let people know that this House is the people's house after all. But I just thought that was a lovely moment yesterday and we should do more of it. Thank you.
Mark Wall spoke this morning, as did Senator Keogan, about the viability of our childcare providers. In my own submission to the Minister with regard to what we would all like to see in the budget in September, I would really like to see a capital programme, a community creche funding model to build creches around our country. But equally as important, in reducing the cost of childcare to all of the parents who need it, we have to make sure that creche providers have a viable business, because it is a business to them and they're not going to make money, or not going to continue if they can't at least make money. In a lot of cases they can't even pay their own wages. And also we need to make sure that those workers in that sector are provided for with decent pay and earning conditions. And all of those things can be addressed in this budget. So I welcome both of your contributions this morning. Thank you.